Hey YouTube, what's going on? I hope this video is going to be a little better than the ones that I've been doing recently. They've been a little slow. I wanted to discuss a couple things. The first thing I'm going to talk about is cutting. I spent 5 years cutting, I think. I started in about 6th grade and I finished not the January that just passed, but January 2nd of the year before that. I told my parents it was difficult, but cutting was my one release. I used to use it to get rid of my stresses, and it was my probably worst quality that I had. I couldn't stop. I tried really hard to, and I didn't want to. I'm going to be completely honest that cutting made me feel great. When you cut, it releases endorphins, which makes you feel better. So it's a mix of that, and it's the release of the pressure. When you cut the hole in your skin, you open up your body, and it opens you up and releases pressure. That's why it felt so good. So, I mean, I'm not ever going to say that I regret doing it, because I don't think you should ever live with regrets, but it was kind of one of the stupid things that I've done in my past. I've had about 19 suicide attempts in my past. Once I realized that I was a lesbian, I didn't think my parents would accept, and especially my dad. And I was really at the point just ready to end life. I've done pretty much everything from drinking gasoline and bleach to jumping off really, really high ledges in the middle of the woods to just pretty much cut off life. I used to go to a camp way up on a mountain, and pretty much we'd ride our quads up. I was part of the quad shed, and we'd ride our quads up, and there were definitely a couple of times where I'd be missing for a few minutes, and I've thought about it. There's also this really large hill that went right up, and if you didn't ride it correctly, you just flipped over and you basically landed on your back, and it was about 15 feet up, and landing with a couple 100-pound quad on top of you, you'd be out. Tried that a couple times, didn't technically surpass that, and I survived out of it. Which, in other words, everyone who I talk to kind of tells me that, oh, you survived because you were meant to be here. I don't necessarily know if I believe that. They say, I was put on this earth to help other people, and I hope that that is true, but I don't know if I'll ever really know if that was true, if I'm really still here because I have the ability to help people in the future, or I have the ability to help people now, which is kind of why I use my YouTube. But yeah, I went through cutting and suicide attempts and depression for a really long time. I suffered through it. Pretty much didn't leave my house for a very long time, and that was also the time period when my parents got divorced. They got divorced. I mean, I wasn't too young. I was about, I would say 13, probably 12. I was about 12 when they split, and things were, okay at first. I didn't really care because, I was also the only person who didn't see how bad it was, but I also didn't want my dad in the house. I really didn't get along with my dad, and although everyone else thought it was that I did get along with him, I really didn't like my father, and it made things easier for me when they split. I liked it a lot better. I like it a lot better now. My dad's not part of my life anymore. He's chosen to not necessarily not understand, but not really try. When it comes to relationships, when you are the teenager and you have a father or a mother, it's more their responsibility to get involved in your life, and my dad doesn't really see it that way. So, I'm not arguing it, I'm just dealing with it and facing it that it's a fact. When it came to my telling my family about my depression and about my cutting and my suicide attempts, I went to my dad first. My dad was the only person in my life who I really didn't care what he thought, and if he hated me because of it, then that was pretty much what I was going to have to deal with. He already knew that I was a lesbian at the time, and I went to him and basically said, I cut myself. He asked to see the scars. I said no, and that was pretty much the end of it. He just looked after it for a while. When I told my mom, it was a little bit of a different story. She was kind of upset that I didn't tell her first, but she understood. We talked for a while about it, and she definitely understood, I guess, to an extent. She wasn't happy. My parents went through a big, hiding the scissors, hiding the knives. Every time I got hurt, they questioned it. You know, it was everything like that. They were wondering if I was doing things on purpose, which, again, I have to understand. But both my parents asked to see the scars, and I wouldn't let them. I wore long sleeve shirts, because there's an occasional couple cuts on my arms, but you can't really see them well. There's occasional couple cuts on my arms, and definitely a lot of my legs, more on my upper thighs and on the genital area. It was pretty much cutting everywhere that I didn't like. I cut my stomach a lot because I was upset that I was overweight. I cut my legs a lot because of my very large thighs, and I cut my genital area because I thought I was a man. So everything kind of went together in its own way. And when I have a really itchy nose and I keep scratching it on the video, but so I had a lot of scars on my legs. But when I started to grow out my leg hair, when I started to transition, I stopped wearing jeans and things like that all the time. I still wear them, but I stopped wearing them because now you can't see the scars. I mean, even if you try to look for them, there's no way that you're going to see a scar on my leg. It's just not going to happen. There's only one or two that you can find through. It's because there's thin patches of no hair. So, I mean, going through transitioning is difficult. All of us out there have our own mixes of depression and dysphoria, but cutting and suicide attempts are not the answer. I've been through it. I know that it sucks. It took having someone very close to me basically tell me, if you don't stop feeling sorry for yourself, then I'm gone. And with that advice, I took that advice, and I've become a lot happier person. I've only stopped wanting to commit suicide recently. I'm not going to hide it. I've been off of thinking about it for about 2 years. I have not attempted in about 2 years, but I have been thinking about it often until then. Jumping out of windows, things like that. And all of those things kind of went away when I had the ultimatum of, if you don't set yourself straight and start thinking about your life in a more positive way, then you're going to lose my friendship. From one of my friends said that, and I basically looked at it and I said, I have two options. I can go on being depressed and lonely and upset and lose this person in my life and lose many other people who are going to leave, or I can become happier, have a better relationship with this person, and life will be easier. So that's kind of what I attempted there. But I mean, life's difficult. It has its ups and downs for everybody. Being a trans guy or a trans woman makes you no less difficult. But when it comes down to, I guess, right or wrong in the form of suicide, suicide is never right. Taking your life because of pain is never right. Technically, you can always survive any situation. If you're out there and you need help, go to me or one of the other trans guys or trans girls or anybody you can find who you can talk to, and reach out to them, because they will help you. If they care about you, they will help you. If they don't, I apologize. I am here for you. Anyone who sees this video who wants to talk about what they're going through, please, if you don't want to post a comment, send me a message. I respond to messages very quickly, usually, unless I can't get around to it, and it may take a day, but that's pretty much as long as it's going to take. I went from being a very, very feminine child to the guy that you see before you. I pass pretty much everywhere I go, even in my own family often. I've had people that were around me when I was growing up come over to me and ask me who I am. It's so difficult. It's so mind-straining to me when I think of someone who's going through the same situation that I went through and I can't help them. So if anyone out there has a question, please reach out to me. If anyone out there needs just a shoulder to lean on or someone to talk to, I am here. If you don't want to wait to get to there, you can always text me. My phone number is 516-314-8884. Please do not call, just text. And we can talk from there, and I can call you from there. But in the text message, let me know who you are. Let me know that you found me on YouTube or on Facebook, and that you'd like to talk to me about what's going on in your life. And I will be here 99% of the time to help you through anything that you're going through. I think that's really it for this video. Have a good day, guys. Peace.